blastmusic247.com. We're changing the industry one artist at a time.
Hey, Melikia K, Courtney coming at you. I'm very glad to be here with you. Welcome to Sanctuary Experience, Metamorphosis 365. That's what you're experiencing right now in this podcast form. I am your host, Melikia K, Courtney, and today is a fun day. It's a fun day. So, gratitude out the gate. I'd like to say thank you big time to Blast Music 247 for welcoming me home. I love it here. If you're looking to have a podcast, you definitely want to come and be a part of this podcast family, a warm family, busy family. We tend to each other. We keep an eye on each other and we support one another. So if you are looking for a podcast home, definitely do come through. Today, I am flying solo, and it's wild because I'm so used to having my adult in the chair, Troy Saha, to come and push the magical buttons and do my best to touch only where I'm supposed to touch. But today we're going to have a great conversation. 10 out of 100 ways to love yourself, and wrapped into that great conversation, it's going to be like 2 conversations, right? I have invited Scott Harrell of Harrell Consulting Group, who is also an MC and a voiceover artist, who asked the best questions on the planet, to the tune of I've been harassing him to have a podcast because he asked such deep questions. Well, he's going to jump on with us. And he's gonna get me with those mystical, magical question powers that he has. And we're gonna discuss my new book. It's called I'm Telling Poems and Stories to Help Ease the Lonely Mind. Because I do understand a lot of folks experience loneliness. And this is it's a fun read. I had amazing fun writing it, like literally 3 days of it was so fun. It came to mind, sat there in 5-7 minutes, wrote the complete outline, and then just hopped into the click, and kept on clicking for 3 days. It was wonderful and done. So let's talk about it. And with that, I'm going to invite Mr. Hero up. I'm pushing all the buttons today. I feel like a grown up. Oh my God. I'm pushing all the buttons and it's working. Yay. I didn't disappear.
I'm waiting for you to send us into like warp drive or something, Bring up the shield, start the phasers, all that kind of sci-fi stuff.
I'm just happy that after we started the first time, I realized that we weren't recording. So
I see a little box up there that says live. Does that mean we're recording, or does that mean you're broadcasting?
We are recording, thank the Lording.
Okay.
But, well, I probably shouldn't snitch. I don't know. I don't know how this goes, but yeah, I'm telling the truth. I'm not going to sit there and lie about it. So how about that? All right, so let's jump into the question of, yes.
May I just say, first of all, thank you for the invitation. I am humbled and appreciate the fact that you have invited me to your platform to interview you. It is a privilege and something I'm very much going to enjoy, and I'm going to tell everybody that sees it right now, go get this book.
Oh, yay. Thank you. I appreciate that. What I will say is we're jumping into the conversation of 10 ways to love yourself. 10 out of 100 ways. We could talk about 100 another time, but just 10. I want to share just 10 ways to really put loving yourself into practice this week, right? And the first thing that I would love to start with is you. And not just the you in the chair. I meant you as in everybody involved, right? We tend to bypass ourselves when passing out love. Passing out love is so natural for some folks, and then some folks are really stingy with their love. And I get it because there's been some hurt or some distrust or some trauma involved. But at the same time, it feels so good to love. So I would like, and for my note takers who are true difference makers, please put you as number 1 on your list of 10 ways to love yourself, acknowledge that you need love. That's number one. Acknowledge that you need love. And two, it's so simple because it's a boosting support of number one. Give it to yourself first.
I would have to agree with you. Oh, I'm sorry. Am I cutting you off?
Not at all. Totally go for it.
I would have to agree with you when I was listening to your opening to this first point. The one thing that you didn't mention and folds right into it. Some people are taught, trained, and raised, unfortunately, even from class, loving themselves is something you're supposed to put last. While
We shooting out the gate. We shooting. Pew, pew. Go ahead.
But you come to a very good point, not only within your first but second point about how you need to love yourself. And I think of, when we talk spiritually, biblically, how many times the word vessel is, and a vessel can only pour out as well as it is kept, as it is clean, and as it is not cracked, as it does not have holes, as it is cared for. We think about everybody else around us, but you can only fill up their cup when you're functioning to be able.
That's rules. That's rules. Like and it is why, like when people sit and wonder, well, why am I so freaking tired, or why am I feeling burned out? Why does it feel like I'm doing so much and it's just taking so long to get done? A lot of times, and I'm not saying it's all the time or every time, but a lot of times it's because they forgot to pour into their own cup first.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I love that you pointed that out because it's very true. A lot of folks have been taught you love you last, and everybody else's joy comes first, and everybody else's need comes first, and everybody else's wants and desires and dreams come first, and to ignore your own. And it's offered as a sacrificial lamb. Sacrifice yourself for X, Y, and Z. I don't agree. So with that, we're going to pause. You got your 1 and 2. Take time to think on that while we have some fun. Go ahead and hit me with a couple of questions. We're going to do 2 by 2.
All right.
All right.
So going into your book, I'm telling. I have my first 3 questions for you, or you tell me how far we can go. And I'll let you share how long it took as you answer this first question. How did you write this book so quickly?
Oh, simple question. That was it. Okay, how did I write the book so quickly? It was fun. It was a moment of fun. I was sitting down. I think I had just had food. So maybe like breakfast, right? Yeah, it was breakfast. I'm sitting out on the deck. It's beautiful. I'm enjoying the sun and the grass, and something played. And, my mind went off to dance, and it was I wish I had that text message. So I text myself, literally. I sat there, had my phone, had a thought, and I was like, huh. And that thought sparked a moment. So I was like, well, let's think. This is probably a book. Like, it hit me just like that. I'm like, okay, well, if it's a book, let's what would be in it? So I sat and I just wrote the outline of the book, like just started coming to me quickly, and almost like flood. And some folks use the word download, but it didn't just come and zoop me. It was a thought. Like I engaged a thought, and we engaged one another, like self and spirit, and it was fun. Like nothing little about me, right? But it was in a moment of, I wonder. And that wonder was just blitz fun. 3 days. Mind you, I wasn't writing for 72 hours. Nah, I went to sleep. I believe in the sleep, and I ate, and I did the other things I needed to do for the day. So, but it was 3 blocks of time where I sat to write, and just bang, bang, bang. So like 6. Oh, you know what? I won't even tell you what it was because it's in the book. The book tells at different points how long I've been writing, so you'll see. And from the 11th to the 14th game. So hopefully that answers your question. It was an engaging thought. It came to me. I engaged that thought, and everything I believe starts in spirit. So I'm sure it was spirit like, hey, you want to play? And I'm like, yeah, I want to play.
So I'm going to press a little deeper.
Sure.
Okay. And it's especially for those authors who, either are taking forever, have taken forever to get their book done, or desire to get their book done. Hey.
Scott came to shoot. Go ahead.
So there's one, and I'm gonna lead the witness a little bit.
Okay.
You when you heard something, but you responded. You did not wait. You did not put it off. You did not get back to it.
I know better than that trick. I fell for that for a while. Go ahead.
Well, that's the point I want to hone in on this first question, because it seems so easy, but it's also such a breakthrough for other people. And I would like you to speak to it. How is it that you could not only give yourself permission, but then almost make it your mission and make room for this thing to manifest, instead of all the other rhymes and reasons of why you can't get to it right now?
Okay, so let's do background a little bit. And I have to go back to the beginning of the thought. The beginning of the thought feels like this. When I began writing, it was always a bit of a dance. And Words and I met early, so we were friends. Reading, writing, sketching, like we were friends, like real hard. We go together real bad. So that has been my constant company through life. So I did have a time where I was like, I'm going to write a book. And I just kept putting it off. And I did that trash for years. And then eventually I ended up writing here and there and being asked to ghostwrite. So it became professional work. I got paid for it, okay? And then from there, I started a particular book, and I didn't even finish that book before I finished the others. It's still a fun book. It's very, very naughty. But we'll talk about that another time. Anyway, it was my pleasure. It was my joy just to sit and write. So I began to write it for me. And because I could. So then the fast forward was I did a cohort for 45 days. And that's when I wrote The Ladder. Yep, The Ladder, How to Escape the Hells of Domestic Violence and Trauma. And that one is more of a get your butt to work book. That's not a, hey, let's sit down and lamp and chill, because this is like the I'm Telling book is a fun book. It's just for fun, S&Gs, and to keep company for all of us. Because I think everybody gets lonely at some point. Okay, so did that. And then even before that, actually, I started working with different authors just to get their stuff done. People who really wanted to write a book and had dragged it out. I'm like, dude, you could do this. You could totally do this. It can be done. And then I guess it's around the same time that I found out that folks were cheating code, going to AI and having AI write their books. Lazy. And scammy, my opinion, because it doesn't speak to the heart. Now, I'm not saying everybody do it that way, and I am saying that some of the AI, you can put your points or whatever, and it can help shape your language. Okay, fine. But I'm talking about those posts who just want to go put a book out. No heart, no energy, no insight, no growth, no love, just cold production. But so fast forward to the end of the question, into my answer. It could be done. I recognized it could be done. I had already put the work in the water and shown myself that it could be done. And then I am a poet and spoken word artist. So as far as my poetry goes, I know that the ancestors speak. I know the Holy Spirit, Mother be speaking, okay? And when Mother speaks, you do well to sit and listen, because every time I have sit and listened, it was beneficial to me. And the things that have poured out of me as far as writing poetry, I notice it still. And I also know, because I admit things too, I know that I've had some things come to me and I literally wrote them down, but I didn't take action on them immediately. And I've seen it on TV, and I've seen it in the music world, and I've seen it on shirts, and I've seen it like just different ideas. And I'll pin them. And then next thing I know, when I don't act on them, someone else does. So things want to come to life through us. For the us that are willing, they do. For the us that delay, they don't. And some dreams die. Okay, great.
To your point, And no shooting or anything, just highlighting things for those who are listening. For those who are listening, you, as a ghostwriter, wrote who knows how many books before you got to your own.
DNA says I can't say, dude. Go ahead.
But it's that point of really giving your own self the value
Indeed.
that
Go ahead.
of the time that you took for other people to do your own. So that's a beautiful thing. All right, my next question.
Okay.
Why are you telling now?
That was an invitation. I accepted, and it was fun. It's like, I am given to mischief. I take a bow. Take a bow. Lady Molotov is my pen name. That should tell you. And I've had like 4 pen names before that, and we ain't gonna even speak on that. And I also have pseudonyms. Blah blah blah. But it was just such a fun. And I was looking for that text message too. I have my phone in front of me, right? And I was thinking, I was like, because I know what day I started. So I was scrolling back, and then I realized that I talk to myself a lot. I send myself notes. I text me because sometimes the ideas are like flood. So I got to write it down. All these thoughts and all these prompts and things that occurred and things that need to be discussed. So I felt like when it came down to it, we needed a conversation. There's some we's that I haven't met yet that I will get to love, right? Who need to be loved back to life, who need company. I remember what it was like to be so alone and to be doing life so guarded and hurt and afraid. I remember that. Like I remember the lonely. I remember the struggle. I remember the climbing and out of poop. Okay. And the work to heal and the work to grow, and then going to study and to train and to certify and grow and kibitz and stop. Because I definitely had some leaders that I was like up under their feet. Like, you're about to teach me this because I need to know it. I wanted to grow. I wanted to heal. And I knew that I didn't want to just do it for me. I know I needed it. My family needed it. And the people around me in my circle needed it. Right. And then things began to level up. And next thing I know, I have incredibly healthy people around me. And I'm like, wow, I'm doing better, right? So just becoming healthier. And of course, not that I'm ditching folks that were with me, because they right here too, a lot of them. Some of them ain't, because everybody can go, I guess. Everybody don't want to go. But that's kind of how the growth occurred, the evolution occurred, the work was in the water, and it's time to talk about it. People are too quiet. I'm over it. I'm over hearing this person unalive themselves. I'm over it. You know, and it does something to you when someone near you that could have reached out to you and been open and said what they need to say and be heard. Because I think that's what it was. I was very quiet with a lot of things, and I hadn't said it out loud. Hey, come talk to me. Please don't sit there and die in silence. You know, don't die in struggle. Don't die in stress. Don't die in disappointment and defeat. This life is worth living. And we can have fun, right? We can have fun and do it together. So I've been journeying with folks for years, and for those who I have the conversation with, bless God, they're here, we're kicking it, and we're doing amazing things. But then there are those people who didn't get the message. So I feel like this is the message. It's a fun way to say you are not alone. You don't have to live lonely. It's a fun way to say if you need help and you know you need coaching, or you know you want to engage some spiritual rituals to heal. Come on, I'm right here. Like, no excuses, because you hear my voice and you see my face and I do exist. You're great. So that's the answer to that.
I appreciate that. And, because the title itself almost has a certain level of connotation to it. When you hear someone say, I'm telling, you almost think of that child who's running and telling somebody because something happened.
Snitches get stitches.
So it's interesting to hear it's more of an invitation. It was an invitation to you, as opposed to that straw that finally broke the camel's back, that made the floodgates open and say, I'm going to tell all that I'm hiding, if you would, or being silent on. So I find it interesting so far from the 2 questions I've asked you. It's about answering invitation and heeding the call. Now, I got one more before we get into some of the specifics of the book itself, because there are quotes.
Hold on 1 second, because this is the funny part. So I went back to find the first text, and the first thing I wrote the book, write the book. So literally the text reads, I'm telling poems and stories to ease the lonely mind. So the title came, and then I literally went and wrote a list of things to do. Like a list of, I have about 12 titles right here. I forgot even about that. Like literally that day, in that moment, like I just copy pasted it, crap cakes. But like early in the morning, how about that? So anyway, dang, and I hadn't even realized that. So well, I wasn't kidding. When it comes, it comes. So there's more I need to do clearly from that list, and I've already got thoughts on I'm telling too, like serious. It was so fun to write. Okay, third question. And then we're going to get back to two more of the 10 ways to love yourself.
Why was poetry seasoned throughout this book?
Because I am ink. I can answer just like that. Because I am ink. I'm a poet. And that's how it came to me.
Let me ask.
Like literally, like this will be a good time for a poem. Like I can find, this feels like a good time for a poem. Do. Go ahead.
Let me put a finer point on it.
Sure.
There are different ways to pair poetry with a book, if you would, or pair poetry with a story or a biopic or anything like that.
Sure.
There is a very pointed way that you have chosen to, as I said, season the poetry. It came as it came. And I'm wondering if you would share with us why, when you, as a ghostwriter, as someone who is very skilled, you know all these different styles, you chose to approach it this way.
Well, it's a simple, I was having a conversation. Like I was literally having a conversation. And that's just how my mind moved, I guess. Mind you, I wrote a passionate poet's thoughts on love maybe 4 months ago, maybe more than that. So I wasn't kidding, like me and words are friends. So that in that book, it was more to the point of engaging the heart, to open up to love and to consider these things. And there's questions in there, and there's poetry that I freaking love in there that I was with, you know what I mean? Like pieces that were performed and have heavy weight and meaning. In this book, it was all new writes. It was literally in the moment. So it was fun. Like I was having a freaking blast while I was writing that book and having a conversation with the reader. Like it just, I don't know, it was so fun. And then I probably had like a spirit company right with me while we were writing, because I was laughing and cracking up at certain points, and then I entered some mischief at other points. So it was I don't know, like that's just how it came across to me. It wasn't I'm going to do this and I'll do that. It was like, okay, this is what I'm feeling. And it was really like Rare Epiphany, who is a poet I love as well, who I really honor and respect. She gave me the moniker philologist. So I do have Lady Molotov, and I also have philologist that I write under. And this was very much in the philologist wave. Like I was feeling my way through the book, and this is how it felt. So to me, what just came to mind was when he was carving, when Michelangelo was carving the David, he cut away what didn't belong. For me, it's inverted. I was filling up the book that was there, like it was there for me to fill, and I could feel it. I could feel its boundaries. I could feel its borders and what it was pulling for me. So what I was seeking me, and it was seeking me, and I was seeking it. So we met in that moment. Kick it.
Beautiful answers. Beautiful answers.
I appreciate the questions. Like you asked us Tommy questions. You asked great questions and be putting my mind to work, Lord. So that's our 3 questions. And then so let's give you 2 more of the 100 ways to love yourself. 1, choose you. Acknowledge that you need love. And then number 2, you're going to give yourself that love. So this is just that quick 1 and 2 reminder. So at the end, I'm not going through all 10. So pay attention and take your notes now. Okay, great. Let's go into 3, 4. What does love look like? Now, it may seem out of order, right? It may be like, dang, I should have asked that question first. Nah, I want you to get some practice in the water first. Get your thoughts moving on what it looks like to love you. Now it's time to really sit yourself down, grab that mystical, magical pen, pen, and you write. Get that pen and paper and write yourself a love note. What does it mean to love me? What does loving me look like? And if I had to sit across the table from someone and explain to them how to love me, what would that entail? Like, can you do that? Can you sit across the table from someone, especially someone who's looking to love you? Can you sit across the table from that human and articulate what loving you looks like and what it does not look like? Okay, because I do find that, especially around years 16 to 18, it is often, and too often at that the couples like to make divorce happen. That 16 to 18 year, the things that occur, big blow uppy type of thingies. And that's because they've been together, they've been acquiescing, they've been folding, they've been losing themselves, they've not been loving themselves, they've been angry and resenting and not necessarily loving one another back, right? Just in a whole lot of funky feelings. And no one is revisiting that conversation, because it does change. Like, what you made you feel loved at this point may reshape itself. So leave room for the reshaping. And that also applies to your partner, your mate, your love, however you move. And let them have the room to reshape too, but that's a bonus because that's not on the list. But number 3, literally sit yourself down and define love. Define what loving you looks like. That's 3. Define what loving you looks like. And the 4, we already talked about it, is define what it don't look like. And if you need it in the Queen's English, what it doesn't look like. Figure it out, because it's not fair to be demanding or desiring love and then someone's offering it to you as best as they know how, but you're not communicating, this don't make me feel loved. Like, oh, is that what you're doing? There's the disconnect has occurred. So be willing to, and sometimes it's not a forefront of mind conversation to say, hey, listen, let's talk about love. Let's sit down and talk about love. What does it mean to you? Because love to me means that you do X, Y, Z, and you don't do A, B, C. Figure it. So that's your 3 and your 4. And I'm going to go back for a couple more questions. Ready to jump with me? Hold your breath. We're going in. Good.
All right.
Ooh.
Let's talk about chapter 1.
Whole lot.
Sing. Now, it's incredible for me knowing you as I do to find out. I already know how much singing means to you, but finding out much more of the depth of it, and then on top of it, finding out how uncomfortable it is in public. To quote a line from chapter 1, being unwanted has spores that germinated into many minds to make music in hopes to ease the truth proved repeatedly. So in that opening chapter there, where you could have opened up anywhere in your life, why was it so necessary to open up so vulnerably right at the beginning? And what has that done for you?
So, like I said, I was just writing. So when it flows through me, I'm writing what comes. And I do also have to say this: I have a background in law enforcement and a background in behavioral health modifications. So professionally, I help people reset habits, right? And then I'll have like a war chest of understanding of what breaks a heart to pieces. Oh God, that sounds like a whole book right there. Like being honest about what breaks the heart to pieces. And for someone to be living a lonely life and it's not that only lonely people are going to grab this book. You know, some people will read it just for fun and they know I'm naughty and they want to see some naughty stuff, or they know I'm insightful and they want some insight. They know I stay talking about growth, so they know it's growth in the book, right? So we'll have that group. But some folks are flat out living lonely, and that's who I'm talking to. You know what I mean? That's who this book, that's the heart that I'm seeking to encourage and to love and to have some fun with, to lift up. Like, we all need lifting up. I needed lifting up. So I think that's kind of why we started right there, because that is the truth. Like, are you going to be a punk about the truth? Like, I'm not going to be a punk about the truth. I'm not going to do that. And then also, y'all know, public speaker, years on years on years. So I grew to a point, because I was not always there. Like, I could tell a story, I could recite or perform someone else's XYZ. But when I sat down to write the latter, I told my story, and not all of it, because that wasn't the point of the freaking book. Like, I gave some of the tea, because I know teetotallers need tea, and you needed a breather, because that content was on your ass. Like, I'm not gonna even pretend like it wasn't a serious book, but I did story times in there to help people breathe. And I think that might be why the poetry is there too, because I understand we're meddling in the heart, and people need a moment to breathe. Like, you need a moment when you face big, hairy, scary, ugly monsters from your past, you know, and that mess hurts. And some people are living there today like it was that day that the trauma occurred. How about today I was at Union Station? How about that? And we did a tour. I did a live and I put it on Instagram, and I showed everybody the bathroom. Now, the bathroom has changed like 4 or 5 times since that incident happened with the officer, March 2021, that kicked off Sanctuary Experience SXP, right? So again, some people are living their life like the trauma happened that day. So that was why.
So the amazing thing about you, before I move on to the next question, and why I really wanted you to expound on that answer, is you said this book was for those who you know, to comfort those who are lonely. I'm
Paraphrasing.
Okay, I'm paraphrasing there. But as opposed to, you know, the book itself has a bear huggish quality to it, but you know, or a warm comfort food, or a comforter being thrown around you in front of the fire, feeling to it. But you're starting out with a place of, this is this way because I was that too.
Rip off the Band-Aid, baby. Let's go. Let's get naked. I started to do this episode. I was like, that might be a little bit over the top. Because I was like, I literally started to do it just naked, because it's a naked conversation. Like, the book is a naked conversation. Now, mind you weren't going to see nothing because I have the camera, you know, angled up. But I thought about it, and I was like, no, we're just not going to do that.
Thank you.
But I promise you, we might have to have a book reading night where folks just come on in as you are, just cover up your bits and pieces and come on in, because it's a naked conversation.
Warn me in advance if we're arriving in task.
I'm gonna invite everybody, but like, leave your clothes at the door. Don't do it. That's a joke. Good.
Just wearing 2 bottle caps.
Wait, if I invite one of my communities, they'll come clothes free. But go ahead.
So I want to go into chapter 5, and I'm bouncing around here a little bit, okay? Because I so want people to go out and get the book. I don't want to ruin anything for anybody.
Oh, before we go to chapter 5, I just realized I'm 34 minutes in, so I have to be obedient and do the things and push the buttons. So one more, please, I have to push a button. And because I want to highlight the artist, and I have Yomasani's Love Tornado. So we're talking about all things love. Why not play some Yomasani Love Tornado, y'all? Here you go.
Gratitude, I've woken up to see another day. It's time to stretch, then meditate. 5 in the morning and young still asleep. Got my workout and I'm brushing my teeth. It's time to study, it's turning 6. The young in their room still sleeping like bricks. Pray to my spirit God need an assist. Spirit God told me I'm being too strict. Yelling and screaming too much. Each moment seems like a fuss. Adrenals out of sequence, frequency frequently. So I've been seeking the secrets of us. Spirit God told me I stay on the move and don't make enough room for some breathing and touch. But we can adjust. Spirit God told me to be sure I'm sleeping by dusk and trust. Cause you gotta love yourself. You gotta love yourself. You gotta love yourself. No one else can do it for you, King. You gotta love yourself. You gotta love yourself. You gotta love yourself. No one else can do it for you, Queen. You gotta love yourself. You gotta love yourself. You gotta love yourself. No one else can do it for you, King. You gotta love yourself. You gotta love yourself. You gotta love yourself. You need some time to do yoga. Tell other priorities to move over. Know who you are when you sober. Put down the liquor, put down the doja just for a day. If it's too hard, you're nowhere close to yourself, you're too far. Some of us stay on the bottom like tar. Some of us rise up as high as a star. Some of us stay in a melancholy state of mind, looking up and don't try at the bar. Which one of you? 1, 2, or 3? You and yourself need to come to agree. Only opinion that matters is your inner chatter, and that's how it has to just be. Well, yours and the Lord's, of course, but God is what's happening above. Down here, you gotta love yourself. You gotta love yourself. You gotta love yourself. No one else can do it for you, King. You gotta love yourself. You gotta love yourself. You gotta love yourself. No one else can do it for you, Queen. You gotta love yourself. You gotta love yourself. You gotta love yourself. No one else can do it for you, King. You gotta love yourself. You gotta love yourself. You gotta love yourself. No one else can do it for you. What's your perception when you look in the mirror and see your reflection? Do you see royalty and perfection? Do you feel loyalty and connection? Do you feel like you're favored with blessings? You're greater than, do you feel less than? What's your biggest fears? What brings you to tears? Your peers, it appears no affection. Or do you feel stressed from the way people looked as you left cause you came with aggression? Or is it the fame and protection you seek that deplete you, defeat you, depression? This song is a pill that I'm giving that's too hard to swallow from deep indigestion. But I hope it leaves an impression and keeps you progressing. The message is you gotta love. You gotta love. No one else can do it for you, King. You gotta love. You gotta love. No one else can do it for you, Queen. You gotta love. No one else can do it for you, King. You gotta love. You gotta love. No one else can do it for you, Queen.
All right. You guys, I know, and that's so cold. And it's perfect music for today. Like Yamasani, you gotta get that message. And I love that there's so many folks bringing up with that message because it is truly, that's what we need. That's what we need. We're gonna have to figure out how to get behind and around and above and beneath these dividing lines, these dividing lies, and really figure out how to love one another. Because life is already a lot. Like life already comes with its specific set of challenges, right? There's nothing new under the sun. We're going through the same freaking challenges that our ancestors went through with different levels of difficulty, with different levels of exacting, right? So we have it better. Our ancestors made it better for us. Let us make it better for our kids and our grandbabies and teach them to make it better for theirs. So this is what we must do. This is not optional. And I watched part of the DNC last night, and yes, that was a chair. It was not me, for y'all who listening. Anyway, what I really enjoyed at the end of Joe Biden's speech was the song that was played. Love, 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 love. That's a whole different song than division, 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 takeover, and stupidity. So I will love. You know what I mean? And it reminds me of my Mother Teresa. Ain't nobody participating in an anti or a hate, but I will participate in love all day. All right, so I'm gonna toss these next two, and then I'm gonna give it back to you. But questions that I might want to duck.
Uh, were there any other was there any other information you had to give post commercial break?
Well, here's the fun part. Troy is the adult, and he does the adulting part. What I can say is pay close attention to the intro and outro. It has details for Blast Music 247. And as I mentioned at the very beginning of this video, if you are looking to do a podcast, you want to be a part of this family. And then I also do know that those artists, just like Yamasani, with music that they want exposure for, I know they can go to blastmusic.com and put their information in and also share their music so that it gets played just like this did for Yamasani. I just had a deja vu moment. Someone I know is here in the hotel and they have a 10-year-old kid. This is a dream I had several years ago before there was a podcast, and I literally when it hit, I could see the room, all of it. Okay, this is just wild. Anyway, guys just had a moment with me, yay. But, wow. So anyhow, fast forward. If you'd like to do that, I would say definitely reach out to blastmusic247.com. And there's also a Blast Radio. So there's so much here. There's so much here, and there's so much reach. And you're talking, there's over 20,000 subscribers, probably closer to 30. I think I saw 30 and closer to 35. So we are making an impact, and then not just talking heads, we are making a difference. So that's what I like about this. And I appreciate you asking that question. Clearly, you've been watching the podcast. Go ahead.
I take notes.
I love that. And you know what I'm going to ask Troy to do? I'm going to ask him to put a Troy video in here for me. So when I am being an adult pushing the buttons, I can press play and he can say all that good stuff. And for real, I think I'm going to do that. Go ahead. Well, let me share these two things and then I'm going to give it back to you for the questions. So,
all right.
Practice makes progress. That's your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's your next. Yeah, number 5. Practice makes progress. What am I practicing? You're practicing loving yourself. You're practicing being honest. Being honest. Stop lying. I don't need love. I don't need a man. I don't need a one. All that BMWing. Stop your beat, sis. Knock it off. And I'm speaking straight to the sisters who mad and bitter. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. And as a woman who had the pleasure of an ex-husband who was violent and tried to take my life, I understand it hurts and I understand it burns, and it is enough to piss you off and have you bitter for the rest of your life if you let it. But why would you let it? And the same goes to you gents, my brothers. I done seen some heifers, women that made me want to snatch them up by their edges and their baby hairs and shake them. I understand what it is like to have a bitter sister who punishing you for all the things that dude did or didn't do. Man, I understand it. I understand it up close and personally, yo. So, to you brothers, you don't get to be bitter too. You don't get to be harboring ill and creating issues for yourself, because that's the only poison affecting you. Everybody, the only poison affecting you is the poison you continue to consume. And whether it's thought consumption, vocalized consumption, sought out consumption, because some people trauma bond and they be on that, tell me about your pain. Nah, hold up. And I had a laugh too, also posted today on Facebook. It was a memory. And I still feel the same exact freaking way. I don't mind. Come on, call me. I am a wonderful person to call because professionally this is my work, right? I will listen to your BMW. Bitch, I'm on wine. I will listen to your BMW all the way out. But guess what we're going to do? When you're done crying, because I'm going to cry with you because some of that stuff hurt and it sucks. But when we're done crying, we're about to get some solutions in the water. We're not just going to cry because it's cry time. No, pumpkin, we're not. And if and I haven't, yeah, let me be clear. I have had sessions where someone needed to cry it out, right? And it wasn't the time to hammer. But you know me by now. I'll made my public service announcements. We're going to revisit this. We're going to work out some solutions, right? We're not just going to leave it that way, are we? Because I'm not the person to call if you don't want to grow. I am not the person to call if you just want to rehash trash. I'm good. I am the person to call if you want some solutions. If you want to be loved back to life, if you want some hand holding a little bit, I will cuddle a little bit. I'm gonna hold your hand. I'm gonna walk life with you because I do that with the people that I love, clients who became part of my circle. It's just life, I believe in doing life together. So practice makes progress. You're practicing forgiving. Did it hurt to hear that word? It hurt. Oh, get the knife out. So, practice makes progress. And then the next one is forgiveness. I know that word don't feel good in the mouth sometimes. However, I can tell you that it is the antidote to that poison I spoke of earlier. Forgive. If you were to exit your body right now, spirit, just you would be able to freely go, or would it be stuck and dragging other people's spirit with you because you're still mad and bitter about something that God allowed to occur in your life to push you to your next level, to free you, deliver to my churchy people, to deliver you from darkness and damnation, thank you. In live that I did earlier today, I said thank you to that jackass man. That man was a complete jackass. He really was. The officer who I had to deal with at Union Station, he was ridiculous. He was racist. He was a whole lot of things. He was screamy, yelly. He was gun grabby. He was a lot of things. But you know what? He definitely was my shaky wakey, baby girl. What you doing? Building everybody else's empire, building everybody else's kingdom. Come love you and come love the people that you came into this body to love. Come serve them. And that's where I'm at right now. Sanctuary experience. I mean, how many impact projects later? How many events later? How many people love later? Thank you, Goofy Man, who wanted to show your tail 304. Yep, we got receipts and names. And I'm still grateful. Thank God for the moment. I'm past it. I live to tell, unlike so many people who are dead, because officers were out of control, but that's another conversation. Let's get back to this. Practice makes perfect. And forgive. Right. Question time. Let's go.
Here we are.
Yeah.
As we come into chapter 5, we're learning the interplay of not only your family structure, but what those interactions built in you and left empty. And it's my understanding, as you were reminiscing about first kisses and the innocence, you remembered a friendship in your childhood that led not only to a kiss, but a break as well. And you remembered, as you remembered it from your adult lens, you then realized that person may have been grooming. So my question for you is this: how much of your story is your innocence being mishandled? And I don't just mean sexually. I want to be clear about that. But the innocence of you, your heart, who you are, being mishandled by those around you who were either entrusted with or had the opportunity to interact with it.
So I'm going to ask a favor. I'm going to ask you to draw me a straighter line in that question, because that looped me out and I'm not sure where to start that answer. So ask me again.
So
concise.
So how much of your story, your life, in your path, if we were to try and put signposts in it as far as turns here, turns there, this, that, and the other, as we look closer at those turns, seems to revolve around how your innocence of who you were was mishandled by those around you who were either entrusted with it or had the opportunity to interact with it. And I'm not just solely speaking sexually. I'm speaking who you are. Okay.
Okay, so Confessions of the Slow Bunny. Slow bunny number one. I was a slow bunny. I was definitely naive. I loved people. I trusted people. I was definitely a people pleaser. I was on that yes train. I needed love and wanted it and was willing to take a whole lot of kakapupududu for it. And some of it was, I didn't know. Some stuff I just didn't know. Soon be coming. It's like, oh, here come one. I was a here come one for a minute. You know, I didn't get it. And when you how far are we gonna go on this one? So children are innocent, beautiful humans. They are dear, and they trust. You know, you trust as you're instructed. All right, and you know what you know until you learn something else. Right? So I can say that I live my life the way many people do, filled with hope. I hope, filled with belief. I believe, so I hope and I believe this person has my best interest. Only it don't always go that way. All right? So I don't think that there's a I don't think there's a heaven or hell position in this question, okay? I believe that I experienced the things that I experienced as I journeyed through my life. I believe that I met with a lot of the same challenges that everybody the frick else do. And then there's a core group of us who met with those specific challenges in the number of the millions, okay? Because I know I'm not alone in this. I've done the math and the research. So I feel like it was, and I'm giggling because there was two ways you could have went with that question as far as the kiss goes, the kitty kiss and then the adult. So in the adult lens, I can say that this human that's referred to in the book, it was literally in that moment, revelation, like, this bastard might have been grooming me from the giddy up. That is my conclusion in the book. That was my conclusion in the moment. But I had to look at everything around it. Like, I can say that when we encountered, there was protection, right? So I think that people's inside is good. I still believe that. I still have hope in humanity. I still believe in love and kindness. I freaking still believe in kindness. Bring kindness back. Okay, great. But I have grown. Thank God. I have matured. I have developed my discernment. Thank you, Lord. I'm so grateful for these things. And they help guide who I allow near me consistently, because there is still to this day people that approach even more so because they see the light, they see the love, they know how I move, right? They are watching and they need that love. But some of them come with a knife in hand. Please love me, but let me stab you. I do not keep those stabby individuals around. They get the boot, get the hell away from me. Literally. So, and no. And I hope I answered your question.
You did. I'm going to follow it up and press in just a little bit deeper because when so many adults have that fear of when innocence is lost, it's gone. From your personal experience, as you've looked back on things and had time to reminisce and look over your path to where you are, where you were to where you are, is innocence, and I don't mean the ignorance, because unfortunately innocence and ignorance of something sometimes is synonymous, and I think
they hold hands and skip.
Right. Something else, something much more I don't feel right using the word pure, but more similar to hopeful, as you said. Is that recoverable? Is it something that can still be embraced despite occurrences.
Yes. This is going to sound really funny. I promise you it's a practice, so take it for what I'm fit to say. Everyone lives in their own delusion. Do we understand that? Everyone lives in their own delusion. Everyone lives in their own creation. Everyone lives in their own universe, their own dimension. Everyone has created their world. You've created the world around you, and you continue to reinforce it every freaking day by continually revisiting those thoughts and memories and beliefs and behaviors and actions and choices. Like literally, we are existing in our own thought. So would I prefer to terrorize the hell out of myself and tell myself the world is not safe? Because I had that, remember a couple of episodes back, go back and listen to a couple of episodes back. I came to a moment where I had to literally hadn't asked that question in decades. Is this a safe universe? Am I safe here? Like literally hadn't asked that question in decades, but I had an occurrence. Some things occurred. And I sat with Melikia and her thoughts, and we having a whole conversation. I mean, we were in the past. So memory was active. Memory was running the show. I was not in the present right now. I was not dealing with me here. I was in the middle of deciding. And this is again, I don't do the good, bad, indifferent. I'm indifferent on this one. You choose. You choose. So I choose to believe that innocence is intact. I do not lie to myself and say, ooh, there's no nefarious humans running around, because we know that's not true. We know in the same sense that we have poles, right? Positive and negative. So you're going to grow here. Either way, we understand that if you call it a good, you better understand a bad exists. If you call it a positive, you better understand a negative exists, because there's nothing that exists
alone.
Nothing. So I choose to find it, and I see it in the hearts of people around me. I see it in the hearts of the grandbabies and the folks I get to serve. I see it in the hearts of the youth as they even when they raging. I see an innocence in it, because the innocence is what they're protecting. When people are losing their cookies, there's innocence that they're protecting. You will not have every last piece of my joy and my pure essence, my being. I will not surrender that. So that's how I would answer that question. And that sounds like a really fun question to delve in when we have more time. But go ahead, because we really are about to wrap on this hour. Go ahead.
Chapter 7, coupling.
Mm-hmm. Wait, which chapter 7? What? Say that last word again. I didn't catch it.
Coupling. The good and plenty throwback was on point, by the way.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I know it's singing in your head right now.
It really, really is.
Your mother knew a candy store owner, Mr. John,
Yup.
who clearly wanted to know your mother better, but your mom was having none of it. However,
they were friends. Like they knew each other. They grew up. They were young together and grew up together. And he loved her, but she was not going. She wanted to keep her friendship intact. So go ahead.
However, you benefited with free candy. You so brilliantly turned the image of the bag you were handed into how we approach relationships. Quote, at the beginning, we approach with an empty bag, open to filling with tasty emotions, weirdly hoping to evade the sour moments we had prior or experienced with a friend. So my question to you, how has your bag and expectations changed as you walk through the candy store of life now?
So I'm going to use this time to share the next point, because I think it applies. Play well with others. That's literally the point. Play well with It is humorous, but it's so freaking true. Play well with others. And let me answer the question to wrap this together. My bag has matured. The same sense of how we treat our bodies, right? We do all these mystical, magical, wonderful things with our food choices and our let's say it both ways. Exercise or lack thereof. Okay. Loving herself or lack thereof. The bag changes. I understand that I don't need that big shopping bag anymore. You know what I mean? It doesn't take all that to like my eyes are not bigger than my stomach anymore spiritually. Get it? Okay.
Yeah.
So I think that is key. And then I've also learned what makes me not breathe. So some of that candy I can't freaking touch anyway. It was never for me. Right? And I was consuming it and getting sick and didn't know why. So if you really consider life, and this is an external conversation I really don't have in here, but we're going to have it a little bit. If you consider life, you are living in 3 planes at least, okay? Because what is happening, and we're just going to talk about the 2 right now, in your consumption, your food intake, how you're treating your vessel, your body. This vessel's the word you used earlier, right? Your vessel, how you're handling it reflects in your life. Like if you really get honest, again, back to the honesty, if you look at your life on the inside, what's going on? Do you know? Are you afraid to look? Are you trashing like you in a hotel trashing the place? Yeah, because that's kind of, I was like, yeah, only this hotel you get to keep for life, right? So if you're not playing well with others, you're just being reckless, and you're not considering yourself, you're not loving yourself, all this other stuff. I've learned that the bag, I have a more luxurious bag, and I take way better care of my bag, and I'm way more conscious on what I put in my bag. And I do understand, oh God, like I was taken through a process, nothing but God. And I learned how to be nothing, nowhere, no attachments, and to understand what that feels like. Oh my God. And now, mind you, when you don't hold on your lessons and keep them in your face, you get the girl again. So I've gotten the girl again a couple of times, but it reminds me every time, like, oh yeah, I remember that. I remember being in that silence and that peace and in that stillness. I don't have all those thoughts and those 90,000 thoughts that hawk and harass people. I don't deal with that. I used to, right? But through that growth process, it started in meditation. Through that process, I learned, one, who I was and who I was not. Oh man, this is a conversation we could totally have in a whole other space. I'm telling you that right there. Ask me again this question right here, because that was life changing. Life changing. Go ahead.
So I got the follow up to that I know is going to only open that door up even wider. So good luck with how you're going to run with it. Chapter 11. And I'm going to start off with a direct quote from the chapter, how the chapter even starts. Waking up the morning of my 44th year was different.
Wait, read it again. Because I'm just like, whoo, I remember that. Go ahead.
Waking up the morning of my 44th year was different. So here's my question to you. And I've heard you share this, but this is why it caught me different, and I have to ask you this. While many people come to that point in their lives where they have a realization, where they work towards, where they make a choice, why was your 44th year presented to you as opposed to...
It bleeped out when you said that. Why was it presented to me as...
Why was your 44th year presented to you this way, as opposed to you discovering it, working for it, coming into a different level of understanding of self? When you read the story, when you read that particular chapter and get to know you, you know you presented it being offered to you that way. Why was your 44th year offered to you that way?
Well, this is a really easy answer. Ask God.
And I'm done.
I'm gonna say, ask God. I don't know. I don't know why Spirit chose to bring it that way. I can speculate. That I had been busting my boopadoo for some years. I had been in a growth press that was off the chain. People talk about the overnight success, bro. I was in some growth buckets, and it was crazy because I had some incredible leveling up, and then somebody whipped out an axe and started chopping my life tree down. And I honestly believe that, as the word says, like when you're building and then it's tested, that fire comes, the axes break out, and they cut and burn away all the fluff, and you're left with the core of who you are. And I believe that I had taken, like, I believe in the life adventure. So I believe that I had taken that life adventure, and I've had experiences where I woke up dying. You know what I mean? Like I was out of body, looking body over there, like spirit doing this. I've had that experience 3 different times, and I've asked God for time 3 different times. So I kind of felt like I was maybe entering a new path. You know, I had exhausted that path. I had worked through those challenges and either met or failed, right? And I was given a gift. Like, I believe that it was a gift to me. And it was like, God gives me birthday gifts. I guess maybe I just should have answered it that way. Like, I get birthday gifts from God. I don't know about y'all. So I'm in my love, I get birthday gifts. And I believe that was a gift to me. It was a reminder, one, of that moment that I mentioned earlier through the meditation of coming to that 0 point. I mean, 00.com, non-existent, right? And then that was like, I don't even know how many numbers, like infinity, times infinity. That was a times infinity moment for me. And I believe that was it was a true invitation. It was a true invitation to understand. You get all this wisdom, you get all this knowledge, but I prayed for understanding, and I believe that was my moment to understand life other than I was offered it, other than I was told, instructed, practiced. It was like, people think they know everything. We think we know every damn thing around here, but we done figured it out according to us. However, when a truth come up, no, we haven't. We think we know some stuff. We're awesome. Like, humanity is amazing. Bees knees to me. Love it. And at the same time, I understand that spirit is infinitely divine and sovereign. And for the seekers, and I am a seeker. I'm a seeker at my core and my being. I believe I'm going to seek. I'm going to ask. I'm going to find, because I'm going to keep knocking. I'm bugging God. Like, I want to know. I want to know. And I kid you not, I woke up like there was no me. There was no me. I was in that whiteout space. And then the great part is, I've met that space in different areas, so in different ways, and had revelation on that after. I was like, oh, I didn't catch that. Like, I didn't understand, because what I had said out loud, I had literally said this out my mouth. I was like, I've never experienced that before. Spirit was like, I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Like, okay, I don't mean no disrespect, just remind me. And I was reminded of the dream when coming up out of the water. I was in that white space. We had the sanctuary experience for the women, and I did a personal development the weekend after, and then through a walking meditation, boom, that space again. So I was like, okay, I gotta connect my dots. And sometimes it literally just boils down to that point of connecting dots. I think I may have gone way beyond the question, but I think I answered it too. A little bit. Okay, great.
No, I appreciate you digging in. And one of the things it shows, and this has been a theme with several of the answers you've given. I'm sorry. One of the themes with the answers that you've given is how you are open to receiving. You know, you where where people may hear or get an idea and then put it over there.
Mm-hmm.
You hear and you're like on it, or receive it, or sit down with it and engage with it. And that is something that I think a lot of people need to understand, what the potential is if you give yourself permission to do that. And that's part of that self-love piece where, we hear everybody else's problems or voices or issues or whatnot, and it's drowning out any of our own. So I appreciate you sharing that. Do you want me to go into another question?
I'm gonna run these last 4, and then I'll give you the opportunity for another question after that. I am at 2:47 on my end, so I do need to start getting prepared so I can show up for the most amazing event on the planet today. But
So you want 1 or 2 more questions from me?
Well, let me run through this first because I want to make sure I give all these 10 out.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna come back to you, and then we'll see what time we're working with. Play well with others. I already shared that one, right?
Yes.
Right. And I mean it. And to poke into the point, make friends. It is wonderful that my mom had that friendship. It is wonderful that as her child, I was able to run in there with a bag and run through that store and get out of Canada I wanted with a friggin'. And I talked to my mom about this recently, and she giggled and she said, mm-hmm. And I was trying to make sure you guys didn't go off. And I laughed because I'm like, this in the book. She was trying. I knew not to look at her when I wanted to lay a number on it and go really off. I knew not to look at my mom because I knew she was giving me the eyes like, you bet not. And he'd be like, get anything you want. And I'm like, yes, which is probably why I am who I am right now. But that's like seriously, like, I don't, I believe I deserve it. I believe I deserve love. And I think some folks don't. I know what it is to walk through that mindset because I transitioned into that mindset for a while. Like, I must not deserve love. That was a lie, right? And I transitioned the hell back out because I'm not going. I know I deserve love. And not only do I deserve love, I deserve to love people. I deserve to. Somebody needs this love. Come on, get it. So play well with others. I mean it. Have the sex. Have the sex. It's wonderful. Have much of the sex. Look at you sit up. Have the sex, but have the sex safely. Like, I really want to stress this point. A lot of people walking around, you're just angry and you're frustrated and you're bitter and your body is responding to the drought. Okay, wait. I gotta say this straight face. Your body is responding to the drought. Man, we're about to mess up some Christianity right quick. Hold up. God gave us these wonderful, incredible bodies that do magical things with the simplest of movements. So I encourage those movements. Hallelujah. I encourage folks to stop it, to stop doing this lonely life. And I'm not saying, hey, lower your standards to the floor, but I'm saying get honest and stop playing with yourself and stop. Why you want to live lonely and be bitter and go mess up everybody's day because you pissy and sexually frustrated? Go do something about that. And then I hear people who say masturbation is a bad thing. Please stop lying to these people. Damn, like, be honest for once. You know what I mean? I'm very serious about that. Folks getting sent to hell for all this other stuff. Tell you what, God is a merciful God and a forgiving God. Let's do it that way. How about that? All right. Stop it. Go study for yourself if you are sexually inhibited because of church hurt and misinstruction. And then for those my folks who are free with it, please stop being community. Don't be community. Be selective in your choosing of a mate. That matters. That mindset matters. That heart set matters. That spirit matters. You are intermingling everything when you share your body with a human. Yes. And I'm going to scare the people right quick. You are intermingling when you share your body with mechanics. Okay, great. So there is honesty here. You don't get to do this irresponsibly. I am literally calling you to engage more sexually, especially my married people. Please. Oh, please. Oh, please. I had a friend who says they're celibate. And the joke I make is celibate and give a little bit away. Like, stop playing. Yes, I told you I was naughty. I told you at the gate. I didn't pretend who I was. Like, no, this is me. Okay, great. Are you laughing at me? All right. So, either who, I'm going to encourage you to responsibly make love. Make love. Make it passionate and saucy. And you like it how you like it without judgment. Okay, and get someone who agrees with you. Consent is sexy. It's lovely. Okay, great. I've harped on that a little bit.
No, you can
So have the sex, huh?
No, you can talk about it more. I'm good.
I got somewhere to be. So here's the next one. Mind your own business. Hey, and I thought that was completely appropriate because somebody gonna have something to say about that comment. I don't give a rat's crack. Go ahead and say something. It don't bother me. Say what you need to say, and at the same time, I'm gonna ask you how happy you are. I'm gonna ask you how flexible you are. I'm gonna ask you, is your spirit fluid? Like, are you able to move? Do you delight? Do you carry a light in your soul? What's your energy like? What's your mindset like? What's your restrictions like? What's your friend group like? I'm gonna ask all them questions because if we mind in each other's business, I'm fit to mind yours too. Okay, great. So I encourage that. And then to pretty much open book, go ahead and ask me. And here's the fun. Don't ask me nothing you don't want to answer to, step one. And then two, some feedback on. Because if you're asking me, that means I get to ask you too. So I love it. Like I'm a fan of questions. Okay, great. So mind your business. And that's specifically directed for folks who are minded everyone else's business, intended to their hearts, intended to their needs, intended to their goals and their dreams and their business, and building them up, but denying and neglecting self. So that is what I mean, literally and truly, in this context of mind your own business. Mind the business that concerns you. Loving yourself back to life concerns you. Okay, and it concerns me. I wouldn't be here having this conversation. And then the last point being, keep showing up to SXP. I think that is a very, very important point. Keep showing up to SXP Metamorphosis 365, this podcast, because growth is occurring. Fun and mischief are occurring too. However, growth is occurring. Press play, press play, press play every day, every day, every day. Does that mean that you might be listening to something over and over? Yeah, that's how we learn. Have we not repeated these things into existence? Have we not repeated the thoughts into existence? We have. So join me in the we have, and let's get it done. Let's get some questions real quick, and then we're skating up out of here.
All right, I'll hit you with the last two questions, okay?
Yes.
Wait,
is this 9 and 10? Or what questions? Where are we at on your list?
9 and 10.
Okay, come on. We did good. We did great. Teamwork, dream work, partner.
Yes, we did, partner.
Let's get it.
Chapter 17. I nearly fell off I did fall off my chair and laugh when I saw Buddy Thoughts. I will not ruin the discovery for readers of what that is about, but I would love for you to speak about the importance of laughter and fun in relationships.
I saw this film. This is really tacky, but this is the first thing that came to my mind. This is just the truth. I seen the film, and then I'm surrounded by comedians. I had a human speak this to me, one that I love dearly, and I thought it was hilarious. We were in the middle of a conversation, and it was something that was said to someone else. I was listening to the retelling of this event. Okay. The comment was, with your boring ass, and I laughed so freaking hard. Like it was it was hilarious to me because I understood it. She was speaking from her heart, and it was literally about a former partnership. Please don't let that be said to you. Please don't let nobody hit off that comment with your boring ass concerning you. Let's not do that. Let's not let the sex be vanilla. Let's not pretend that laughing doesn't matter, because it freaking does. These uptight, intense, point and project driven people, right? Driving their point, gotta drive a point, gotta drive a point. Gotta drive a project, gotta drive a project, and driving everybody to hell around them crazy at the same dang time. Like, you stressing everybody around you out. Stop it. Knock it off. And to those lovely humans, I say, please put some fun in your calendar. And no, I am not the dictator of what fun is. I like belly laughing. You may like a giggle. Plan you some giggles, because I plan my belly laughter. I make sure I have some fun stuff on the calendar, and I will drag and drive folks into the fun. You will come have fun with me. And I might drag you up the wall while we're planning it. Absolutely. But when we get into it, we're going to have a good time. So it is mandatory that we laugh. Like, laughter is medicine. It is medicine for the heart, mind, and soul. And I find that, and I think it's actually proven too, because I think I did the research on this one. People who laugh more often live more healthy lives. They have better bonds in their relationships. I'm trying to read it in my mind real quick. But do the research yourself. How about that? And find out the benefits of laughter. And I almost think it was like 10 minutes a day. 10 minutes a day out of 1,440 minutes is not a lot to ask for my people who say I'm busy. Yo, I'm busy too. Got somewhere I'm supposed to be right now. Get 10 minutes, 15 minutes. How about that? And I ain't gonna be there in 15 minutes. I'll be there later. It's okay. Because this is important. And first things first, my commitments are first. This is Sanctuary Experience. This is my company. So I'm definitely going to take care of my baby first, right? And take care of me first. Yay. Like I told you to do, I'm going to do what I tell you to do. Okay. So 10 minutes a day. We have 1,440 minutes a day. Go ahead, run them 10 minutes. Give me that. And I believe in, I like the scrolling and the swiping. I go find funny things. I find the Kit Kats. I find the dogs. Or I just talk to the people around me. I have grandbabies, y'all. I have entertainment. I have children who are adults. So oh God, my youngest daughter is freaking hilarious. Funny. And I love her posts when I get to see those things. And then we chat. And y'all, she funny. Like, wide sense of humor. Help us, Lord. And I know she got it honest, so I have no judgments. So it is medicine. It is a moment, and it's a recentering of the mind when you are having a bad day and you big mad, and I do believe that's why some of the clinicians used to say you argue naked, and oh God, one of the best pieces of advice I'll share with you guys, get in front of the mirror naked and jump. It is the funniest. To me, I find it freaking hilarious. It's funny, like funny. And if you haven't figured out how to laugh at yourself, it's probably hard for you to laugh at any freaking thing else. And I understand being mature and taking yourself seriously, but not too seriously. A lot of times we drive ourselves crazy to be what someone else needs us to be or calls us to be or demands that we be, and we lose sight of ourselves. And that, I point you back to one. Love yourself first. Love yourself first. You got to come into the picture at some point. And I have some clients who waited until their 70s to put themselves in the picture frame, 70 years on the planet. Couldn't find them nowhere in a damn photo. Superman video, they weren't even in the back. Like, gone. I'm serious. Like, not participating in their life. Giving their life fully away. And some people say, encourage that. And they call it humble. I'm gonna stop right there. Hold myself. Do better. Okay, great.
My final question for you, my partner, as I thank you for the privilege of allowing me to interview you.
I'm so grateful. Go ahead.
Hope I did a good job for you.
You did an amazing job. Your questions are always tabby. I knew it was coming. And so you guys, Scott asked me if I wanted to hear the questions before, and I was like, nope, because I want to have a clear and not a calculated response. I want the heart to heart, the belly to belly. That's happy. Like, this is fun. I am having fun. Yay. Go ahead.
So my final question for you is this.
Hmm.
What are your hopes for this book and yourself?
I hope that Miss Oprah Winfrey reads it and laughs so hard she pees. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. And then she shares it with all the humans in her book reading list, and that everybody laughs so hard they pee just a little bit, or fall off the chair, because that was pretty funny, and or call me screaming, because so some of my remark readers, I got phone calls with screaming laughter, and I was like, what's going on? I was rolling. So there's some stuff in this book, and I also got some phone calls about a particular poem called Lolly. Yeah, it's just a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. Figured I'd skip the question.
Gleek. But yeah, so grown folks book. This is a grown folks book, okay, Sharon? This for the adults, and it's adult content. And I am mischievous, and I am a poet and spoken word artist, and I say things, and I'm an erotic poet too. Okay, great. Okay, great. Buyer, be ready. So really, I do hope that I hope this book reaches like finds its way into the hands of people who are hurting, you know, who are living lonely, and that they read it and decide not to be. Wouldn't that be great? Like, just decide not to be. And sometimes it's like for my more timid hearts, I've given simple instruction: go sit next to someone. You gotta say a word to this person, but just go sit in proximity of another human and feel the energy of another being, and then grow. And when you're brave enough, say hi. I'll say hi. Greet 5 people. Don't have to have a conversation with them. Just greet them. Hi, how you doing? And have a beautiful exchange. Something simple, and then grow into a relationship. Like, sometimes folks just rush into these relationships. Knock it off. Drive slow, homie. Push pause a little bit, and get some vibration checks going. Get some mindset checks going. Get some heart and spirit checks going. Get your discernment up. So I'm hoping that the book it encourages. I'm also hoping that my mailing list grows wildly, and when I'm telling part 2, because I did already title it up, and I'm giggling. Yeah, I'm back up on my BS, like Janae Aiko says. I'm about to be back up on my, and I can't wait to write that one too. So I perceive that this is going to be a fun series, and I would like all of the readers to go on the ride with me. Then I would like to, if they enjoy that, the other books are definitely written in a different dynamic framework and mindset too, but there's so much good stuff in them, and especially the Passionate Poet Sauce on Love. I really think that would be a great pairing, actually, to grab that book and both books. Enjoy the poetry. Book me, hire me, invite me out, flew me out to perform. I would love to go sit in some coffee shops and talk about this book. I would love to sit on air and talk about this book, and go on podcasts, run the rounds with podcast buds, and have this conversation about this book, because I'd love to poke a hole in that balloon of loneliness and just watch it. That would thrill me. Right? And then, of course, those who hear my voice and know that I'm their vibration, know that I'm their coach, and want me to help love them back to life. Come on. I would like the response, because it's wonderful. As a performer, you perform, and it's great to be received well, and it's great to know after the fact, when you're having those conversations, that people have been impacted. I am not just here to talk to you for talk to you's sake. I am here to make a difference in your life. Whoever hears my voice, I'm here to make a difference in your life. So I'm doing what I said I would do. When Les Brown interviewed me some years back, we had that conversation. I told him, I was like, listen, regardless of what goes where, I'm going to show up. I'm going to do what is in me to do, what the God in me is breathing for. I'm going to do that. So I would like to let that breath be a breath that touches another breather and wake them up, you know, come to life. Sam Michaels, who I love. He ran the Difference Makers call. I am still an affiliate actually for Kangen Water that I totally believe in the conversation. But I was taught, trained, blah, 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 trained with some masters in, I forget the name of that, whatever. I forget the name of it. However, I was trained by some of the best. I am a master trainer, right? And I got the opportunity to work with Sam Michaels, who's freaking amazing. And his call was difference makers. And he would always say, you are a difference maker. And I could hear Sam's voice in my ear right now. I love him so much. And he is the biggest difference maker. Like his love, like it literally, he washed me in love. He filled me in love. He embraced me in love. He welcomed me in love. And that is how I move. Period. Okay, great. Questions answered?
They are, and I want to say thank you. I'm proud of you. Everyone go out. I'm telling, and one of the most remarkable things about you, the consistency in your heart position from when I first met you till this moment, and I know going forward beyond, you have always been a person who has desired to pour into people and help them from wherever they are in their point of pain. And even in making a book where it's truly, it has so much fun, it has so much love and laughter and everything else, you want to put it in the hands of people who are lacking and need that point. And I honor you for it. I am proud of you for it. And please keep being you, right down to having that potty
buddy. Everybody need a potty buddy. I am so grateful to you. And when I was thinking, I was like, I would like to talk about the book. And I was thinking, who I like to talk about it with, like, what makes sense and what would help people understand the value of what's in the book. And I'm like, I know an excellent question asker. And I called the question asker of the year, you guys. If there were an award for question asker of the year, I would call Scott Harrell, because I liken him to Barbara Walters, like for 2020. Like I remember, I'm aged enough to recall, and I loved that show. That was some TV that I would watch. I enjoyed her. So with that having been said, thank you so much. I appreciate you pausing your day, because I know you're busy. And I am grateful. You're calling dibs on something?
That's right. I'm calling dibs, and I think I
Sure.
can now. And I'm putting it out here for all the universe's witnesses.
Okay.
When my book comes out, I want you to be the first place where we have our book launch, and I want you to interview me.
Gang, I'm forwarding a lot. Let's go. I love it. Thank you. I am honored. Woo-hoo. That's going to be fun, too, because y'all, his book is the bomb. Oh, my God. That book is the stories and the characters. I'm not going to tell right now. You already know, like, that book sent me up. You guys send me up. That right there, man, hurry up. Let me know when. Give me a date. Because, I believe in calendar. If it's on the calendar, it exists. Other than that, it's conversation. So give me a date. And I'm here. Make sure it's a Tuesday. so we can do it like right here. Right here. Tuesday and a Friday, PIR space.
Since you're learning how to push buttons better, it could be any day.
You know what? You're right. Yep, it's right. And I'm pushing this button on the phone, see what time it is, too. Okay, what we at 3:10, y'all. I bid you the adieu. Okay, let me offer you final words and not be completely rude. Anything final you'd like to offer, sir?
Thank yous, appreciation, and blessings.
Received, enjoyed, multiplied in return. I appreciate you. Thank you much. Okay, humans, I'm going to push some more buttons now. I need to share this. So I'm getting better and I'm getting in the habit. I'm going to flash this really quick, you guys. And I'm going to say goodbye to my guest. Hasta pasta. All right, I do want to flash this up real quick. Okay, we had a conversation about the many things that I do. This is not going to be up here very long, so please grab a screenshot and let's have the conversation. I have bunches of services, virtual and in person. I'm actually doing, on this Saturday, the 24th, I'm having a Fireside Plus. And you can ask me more about the Fireside, but we're doing a Fireside Plus for women in the Chicagoland area. It is RSVP only. I need to know you. So let's go ahead and connect if you'd like to be at that event. And then also, I'm going to share with you too, September 9th, 9th month, 20th day through the 22nd. Let's get it correct. So 9/20 through 22nd. Our team, the Sanctuary Experience Florida team. We're going to be hosting women for 3 days. That means that 3 days of loving on you, hands on with a awesome spiritual team who really, really understands the assignment of love. We're going to handle that business for those 3 days. We're knocking off the trauma blocks. And we're working through healing processes and methods. So join us for that. Oh, yes. Please bring you some comfortable clothes because we eat and we eat well, very well. And then your bathing suit, bring that too. We are in sunny, beautiful Florida, and the beach is about 17 minutes away. So trust and believe we're going to be in the water. So we have missions. And actually, we're using a wonderful place home together. We're focusing on sisterhood. Either way, yada. Go ahead and tap in with me for the details. You can text SXPFL, so SXP Florida, to 321-443-2495. So SXPFL. This way I'll understand that you want to attend the Florida's event. This is for the women. So again, the women, go ahead and message 321-443-2495 so that you can attend Sanctuary Experience. And it truly is an experience. We ain't hollering retreat. We ain't hollering event. It is an experience. So come experience SXP. What else is to be known? I do have, I guess I could show that too. So the Womenly Journey, I'll share that right quick. Again, grab a screenshot. Updating dates. That's going to be coming back again because it was awesome. Let's do it again. What else do we need? Yeah. Blah, blah, blah. So, Darling Faces, it has been wonderful chatting you up. I really enjoyed Scott and his questions. That was great. I do encourage you to go through this and get your notes. And not only take the notes, but please put it to work. What's the point of sitting and learning and watching and then not taking action? There is no point in that. And it's not wise. So I encourage you to do that. Oh, did we not? Okay. I started to run back through those points, but I ain't doing it. I'm just going to let you have it. And what I will say, keep showing up. I'll give you the last point. Keep showing up and growing up. We talked about the maturity earlier. Got to work for it sometimes. Some folks come just that they're ready and they're strong and they're stern, but some of us are late bloomers and late growers and late understanders. And that's okay too. Everybody be who you are and where you are, and we can grow together. Growth is always in the water. I am Melikia K. Courtney. I've been your host for SXP Metamorphosis 365. I do believe this is episode 17. And I will see you again next Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll be live for that one. And I'll update you on the fun that I'm having with, I will set it this way, but I'll say it the other way when I see you. How about that? A little quiet, a little surprise. I got a surprise for you next week. All right. I'm going to push another button. Do-da. As soon as I find. Oh, there it is. It's so fun pushing choice button. Yay. Bye. Thank you for watching. Oh, please share with 10 people. And subscribe to my channel, Melikia K. Courtney on YouTube. And also subscribe to Blast Music 247. Do it now. Very important. I'm live over there. You can catch the replays and the shorts on my page. All right, let's play together. Grow together.